Hello everyone. Today's lesson is lesson 3, collecting information from a survey and making a frequency table and a bar graph to show the data. So yesterday we made a pictograph to show the birthdays of the children in the class. Okay? So today we're going to make bar graphs to show other information about children in the class. To find this information, we will conduct a survey. And this is an example of a survey. A survey is a set of questions, so it's also called a questionnaire. So on this survey, or questionnaire, we have 8 different questions. Okay. You can only circle one choice for each question. Okay, so I'm going to read these and I'm going to answer what I would answer so you can see what it looks like. So, number 1 says circle your favorite fruit. There's oranges, grapes, apples, watermelon, and bananas. So my favorite fruit are apples. Okay. Number 2, circle your favorite school subject. We have social studies, science, math, reading, and writing. I really like social studies. Circle your favorite color. Red, orange, blue, green, or purple. I think purple is the best color. Circle your favorite type of soda. Orange, cola, lemon lime, grape, or root beer. I really like root beer. Circle your favorite type of book. Sports, mystery, animal, biography, or poetry. So, out of those choices, I probably like mysteries. My favorite is actually fantasy, but that's not one of the options, so I'd have to pick out of these. Okay, 6, circle your favorite fast food. Chicken, hot dog, hamburger, pizza, or taco. So I really like chicken. Circle your favorite summer sport. Baseball, inline skating, bicycling, fishing, or swimming. Out of these choices, I probably like swimming the most. And the last one, if you could watch television only one of these nights, which night would you choose? So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So if I can only watch TV one day, I'll probably do it on Monday. Okay, so in class, we would go through and see how many people answered these questions. Okay, so let's say that we did favorite fruit, and I asked everyone in the class what their favorite fruit was. So on my frequency table, I would write down what the question was, or the title, which is favorite fruit. Okay. And a frequency table is where we show how many children chose each choice. Okay. So you write down your title. Since it was on fruit, we would do favorite fruit. And then we'd write down the choices. So the choices were oranges, grapes, apples, watermelon, and bananas. Okay. So let's say that we had 3 people like oranges, 5 people like grapes, 4 people like apples, only 2 people like watermelon, and a whopping 7 people like bananas the best. Okay, so we would write down the number of children, we would tallies, or we would just write down the number. So 3 people like oranges, 5 like grapes, 4 like apples, 2 like watermelon, and 7 like bananas. Okay. So which fruit was chosen by the most children? That's going to be bananas because my number was the highest. So now we're going to make a bar graph to show this information. Okay, so here's my bar graph. And it says, will you number the graphs below by 1, 2s, 3s, 4s, or 5s? Since my biggest number is 7, I'm probably just going to number this by 1s. So it's just going to be... So if we try counting by 1s, it would look like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I had one of them like 7, so I can't count by 1s. So I'm going to need to count by 2s. So we'll start with 0 and go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That way I can show all of the data on my graph. Okay, and then at the bottom, I'm going to write down what I was measuring. So we had oranges. The next one was grapes. I'm just going to put a single letter for these ones. Apples, watermelon, and bananas. Okay. So oranges and grapes. There we go. Okay, now I can make my bar graph. So if I look, I would see that 3 people like oranges. So when I draw my bar graph, I would take my bar up to where the 3 would be, which is halfway between 2 and 4. Okay. Grapes had 5 people. So we take my bar graph up to where the 5 is, which would be halfway between the 4 and the 6. Apples was 4, so I'd take that up to the 4 mark. Watermelon was just 2. And bananas was 7. So I'd take that up to 7, which is halfway between 6 and 8. Okay. Now normally when you do this, of course, you have your pencil, so it kind of makes your bar graphs look like this. Like that. Okay? So this bar graph shows us who liked what. Okay? So we can see here clearly that the most liked fruit was bananas and the least liked fruit is watermelon. So let's practice with favorite color. Of our choices, we had red, orange, blue, green, and purple. Okay. Then you would go around and ask how many children liked each one. And we could say that was like 5. Let's say we have like a 3-way tie here with those. And only 2 and then 3. Okay. So on my chart, I can number this by 1s because my highest number is only 5. Okay. So my colors are red, orange, blue, green, and purple. Okay, and then I'll draw my chart. So we have 5 people like red. That goes all the way up here. 5 people like orange. And I'm drawing this quick, so I'm not being super careful. Only 2 people like blue. 3 people like green. So it goes up to the 3. And then 5 people like purple. So we can see on this graph that we have a tie between red, orange, and purple for being the most favorite color. All right, and that's it for today's lesson. Good luck on your homework.